Hello again, Delts and friends. Let's try this again. We had some difficulty on the first with audio, but we wanted to make sure that we got this information to you. I am once again joined graciously by Jack Kreman, the CEO of Delta Ta Delta, as we talk a little bit about both what we've gone through as an organization the past year and what to look forward to over the next year. What to look forward to today? So far, we are just under $75,000 raised for the Fraternity Foundation from 218 very generous gifts. Thank you so much to everyone who has contributed thus far. There's still a lot of work to go. So let your brothers know, your friends know. Today is a day to invest in the next 40 years of Delta Tau Delta as we celebrate the past 40 years of the Educational Foundation's existence. So again, Jack, thank you so much for joining us again.
Absolutely. If it wasn't for technical difficulties, this wouldn't be fun, right?
That's right. It's always an adventure. But that's needless to say, a huge shout out to Justin Powers behind the camera for continuing to work us on these things. So, the last year, nothing went really according to plan, right? Anything but normal. And that especially in our society, but definitely for Delta Tau Delta as well. So, how did Delta Tau Delta navigate this past year? And what did you specifically learn about the organization through the adversity of the past year?
I think one of the good things is that when working in a fraternity, there really is no normal day. Every day, every year brings kind of different challenges. So the last 12 months maybe have been a little bit less normal than normal, but I would say it has been difficult, but our Delt fam has really risen to the occasion. I think what I've been impressed to see is the way that our undergraduate officers, our volunteers have come together and found a way to make it work. It possibly looks a little different. In many places, it definitely looks different than it has in any other year. But recruitment has happened, and brotherhood is continuing to happen, and really the fraternity is just different. And I think that we'll take some of those things that we learned as well next year and combine it with the best that we have to offer, and really just even make it that much better when we have the opportunity to return. So I'm excited. Yeah, it's been challenging, but it's also inspiring to see our guys doing great things.
Yeah, let's expand upon that a little bit. People are getting vaccinated. Things are starting to slowly open back up. And a lot of places have talked about getting back together in person for the fall. What are you most excited about for the Delt experience and for the fraternity as a whole as we seem to be getting closer to that light at the end of the tunnel?
Just what you talked about, that human interaction. As you know and I know, we as human beings, we're not designed for a screen or designed for isolation. And so the quicker we can get back to interaction and brotherhood, I think the better. I was speaking with one of our board members who will remain anonymous, talking about when do we bring guys back together? When do we start to do in-person events? And he just said, I don't want to do anything until I can give a guy a hug. I miss just being able to have that interaction. If I have to stand 6 feet away and can't put my hand on their shoulder, I'm not interested. So we want to make sure that when our Delt experiences come back together, it's everything that we can and everything that we want it to be. And I think it will. As our men come back in the fall, they're going to see a tremendous surge, I think, of interest from guys that have held out for the last year, maybe guys that were sitting in their room and have not been able to find their family on campus. I think as long as we're ready to go and we're intentional, I think the fall is really going to pop. And I'm just excited to see everyone get back together and bring in a whole new class of Delts.
That's awesome. And as we look toward that fall and look toward the premise of recruitment being a little easier, in-person things being a little easier, what is the value of fraternity membership in 2021? What are young men getting from Delta Tau Delta that makes it so worthwhile at this day and age?
When I talk with alumni, they ask my question a lot. What's in it? Why would someone join a fraternity in 2021? And when I kind of go through them with my thoughts, it becomes apparent it's not all that different than it's ever been. It's that one-on-one connection. It's finding a family on campus and finding those guys that challenge you and help you develop and help you grow. I think in 2021, it's even more important. As we've talked about in other segments, men really are challenged, I think, to find role models and make lasting relationships. A lot of their support structures have been eliminated. We no longer have the Boy Scouts. We have a lot of athletic programs now that are not, people just aren't getting into them like they were. And even at the home front, a lot of families are now single parent or fathers. And so men are really struggling to develop those lifelong connections, and they need it. some of the things we're starting to see with mental health is reinforcing. So the fraternity is as relevant as ever because our haven't changed that interpersonal need to belong and need for family. And as long as we're wired the way we are, I think we'll always have a place.
It's fantastic to hear, and I'm excited to see that come to fruition. Certainly, all of this good work and all of this ability to maintain and survive through this past year, it wasn't done alone. It wasn't the efforts of you, me, anyone else on staff, but really a collective effort. Talk about staff and what you've seen from them over this past year.
Absolutely. And first off, as being an Administrative Professionals Day, I think I'd be remiss if I didn't at least say thank you to our administrative staff for all you do and keeping us going, really the engine that makes this thing purr. As I joke, I'm not sure I could find the door, let alone get in the door without our administrative staff. So thank you on this day particularly, but just all the staff. They adapted quickly. We went from in-person to fully remote in about 3 days. And that was about 3 weeks sooner than we even thought we might have to without missing a beat. And we were able to adapt with Teams and Zoom and all those things now that are just second nature to us all. But I think the important part is always with our staff is just putting that student experience at the forefront, understanding what the student needs, be flexible in order to accommodate what's going on in different chapters, and always keep that experience at the forefront. And with that as our guiding principle, the staff has just done an outstanding job. And it's not always been easy, and I know it's been grueling, but we had a good year, and I think the fraternity's stronger for it, and a large part of that is due to the staff at the Educational Foundation and the fraternity, and I couldn't be happier that we're a team and come to work every day for them.
Couldn't echo those sentiments anymore if I could. And Jack, we'll get you out here on this. As, again, we look toward the future and optimism starts to bubble up around us, what is coming down the pipeline that should be exciting for undergraduates, prospective members, parents, all interested stakeholders within Delta Tau Delta? What is exciting and upcoming?
I just think that it's all about that personal interaction. I think at the local level, we have chapters on the East and West Coast that are still virtual. And just being able to have a chapter meeting or being able to play a pickup game of basketball is something to look forward to, seeing those people that you haven't seen in so long. On the national side, we want to try to bring people together as much as we can. And we've got an ambitious slate next year with Ignite and Charge coming back to service our members in leadership programming. And the Volunteer Coaching Summit is scheduled for the second time. PresX for the third time. Division conferences, we're planning to go fully in person in February. And then the greatest of all Delt events in 2022 in Norfolk, Virginia is right around the corner. Hard to believe. But we are excited just to kind of put the stage out there, so to speak, and let the people get on it and just talk about what they've missed and rekindle those bonds of brotherhood. Zoom can get you so far, but there's nothing like sitting down one-on-one. And if nothing else, I think recruitment will be exciting. I think all of those programs will be exciting, but saying hi to those people that you've missed for so long will be the best part.
Absolutely. Well, certainly a lot to look forward to both today and moving forward. Again, if you haven't made your gift yet, hopefully this excites you to do just that. Go to www.deltsgive.org. We're chasing down $100,000. We've just passed 75. And so help us continue to invest in the future of Delta Tau Delta so that young men can continue to have that fundamentally changing experience for the better that a lot of us had. Again, Jack, thank you so very much for joining us here today on the One Day, One Delt Day of Giving 21 and for the future.
Thank you, Vince, and thank you to all our donors.